Good day everybody. Today I'm going to be showing you how to play Monopoly Gamer Sonic the Hedgehog Edition. We will go ahead and start with the different characters. So the characters you have to choose from are Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, and Amy. Players are going to have a couple of different abilities. One is called the Super Boost and then one is called the Booster ability, and I'll talk about how these work here in a little bit. Right here you've got rings. You've got rings that are worth 1 point and rings that are worth 5 points. In the beginning of the game, each player is going to get 10 rings, 1, 5, and then 5 of the ones. Right here are what are called Chow tokens, and these have different point values here on the back. You're going to be receiving these if you are chosen to be a sidekick to help in boss battles. And again, I'm going to go ahead and talk about how those work as well. Right here you have what are called the boss cards, and then there are different gems that are associated with each. And whenever you land on or pass go, you're going to go ahead and draw a boss card. And let's just draw the first one just to kind of show you how what it looks like. This tells you you have to roll 7 or higher to win, and it also has a point value. Now, as you're going through these boss cards, they're going to start increasing in point value, but they're going to be harder to beat as well. And you're also going to be able to choose a sidekick, i.e. another player, to help you. And what you're both going to do is you're going to both roll the die and then combine them to see if you can beat or equal this number. And whoever landed on go or pass go to trigger the boss battle, they're going to go ahead and receive this card along with their point value. And then the second player that was chosen, the sidekick, is going to receive one of these child tokens and just simply pick one randomly here from the pile. Now, if it turns out that you're not able to beat the boss, you're going to leave the gem where it is, and the boss card is going to be discarded because they will have escaped. Whatever gems are going to be left could affect the very last card, which is going to be Dr. Eggman over here. Now, Dr. Eggman is worth 100 points, but he has an ability that for every 2 emeralds that are left here on the board, his rolling power is going to increase by 1. So if there's 2 emeralds left here, this is going to be 12, and you'll have to roll a 12 or more combined in order to beat him. Now, whenever you get these gems, this is going to allow you a re-roll in case you roll a number that you're not happy with and you don't end up beating the boss. Now, you don't have to do that if you don't want to, but for each jewel you have, that will be how many re-rolls you'll get. So if I had 3 jewels, and let's say I ended up rolling a 2 when I was trying to fight a boss, and my opponent wasn't able to beat him with his roll, I would have 2 re-rolls to try to beat him. Now, my opponent can also do re-rolls if he has these gems. He does not have to. I believe he can keep his number if it's a good number. Now we'll go ahead and go over some of the board spaces. Right here is the loop. If you land on the loop, you'll just simply go over to the next loop like this. Or if you're on this one, you'll just go over here. If you land on the ring space, you're going to go ahead and roll this die. And whatever you roll, you'll receive that many rings. So in this case, if I landed here, I would receive 3 rings. Right here is your booster, and this is going to activate your character's unique booster ability, and each character has a different one. Right here is the just visiting space. If you land on here, nothing's going to happen. You'll just be visiting. Of course, right here we have famous jail, and the main way you're going to be going to jail is by landing on that space. You're not going to be able to be chosen as a sidekick in any boss battles. Now, you can get out of jail in 1 of 3 ways. You can either pay 5 of these rings to get out, and you'll just go and roll your dice as normal. If you decide not to do that, you can go ahead and try to roll the numbered die and try to roll a 7. Now, a unique thing about this die is that there is no 1. The lowest number is 2, and then the highest number is 7. This is because Sonic and the characters are fast, so they kind of added an extra number to meet that theme. If you do, you'll get out, and then you'll roll both the dice as normal. If after your second roll you don't roll a 7, on your next turn you'll get out for free, and then you'll roll both these dice as normal. Right here is Chopper, and if you land on here, you're going to drop 2 rings, 1 on the Chopper space and 1 in the space behind you on the board. And on the upper left corner of the board is free parking. If you land there, nothing's going to happen. It's a free space. Now, on the go space, if you land on or pass this, you're going to go ahead and collect 2 rings, and then you're going to go ahead and signal off the boss battle. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about the booster die and the different symbols that are on here. We have the ring symbol. If you roll this, you'll collect 5 from the bank. We have the spikes. If you land on this, you're going to drop rings equal to the number you rolled in the trail behind you. Let's just say Knuckles happened to roll the spikes and he landed on there, and let's just say he happened to roll a 4. So what he would do is he would put a ring here, a ring here, a ring here, and then a ring here. Anytime you land on or pass rings that are on the board, you're going to go ahead and take them off the board and put them into your pile. You're not going to collect any rings that show up on your space when you're already on there. Now, if it turned out that he didn't have enough rings to put down, what he's going to have to do is he's going to have to sell the property back to the bank at face value, or he can go ahead and negotiate somebody buying the property from him to get the rings. And in that case, he could go ahead, get the rings he needs, and then finish off the trail. And if he has no properties and no rings, he's not going to have to do anything because he has it bad enough as it is. Okay, this is the red boost. This is going to add 4 to your die roll. The yellow boost right here is going to add 2 to your die roll. The shield is going to double your number die roll. And then you have the immunity, and this is until the start of your next turn. The next time you would have to pay rent or drop rings, you are immune. Now, each character is going to have a super boost associated with one of these symbols. On the booster die, you'll have the super boost, and then you'll have the booster ability. You'll receive the super boost if you are able to roll that certain symbol on this die that's associated with your character. So if Sonic were to roll this would activate his super boost. And in this case, it's double your numbered roll. All players who pass on the space where you land must drop 2 rings, 1 on their current space and 1 on the space behind them. Now, if you land on booster space on the board, for Sonic, he'll advance to go. He'll steal 2 rings from each player he passes. He won't follow the rules on the go space, so he's not going to collect any rings when he passes go or trigger a boss battle. And all of the other characters have abilities as well, and I'll just let you read those. Now, you also have different properties over here, and there's 2 in each color group. And one of the things you can be able to do here is buy the properties and charge rent. So what you're going to do in the beginning is you're going to go ahead and roll both dice, and you can choose to activate this boost first or move first. So let's say I'm Sonic, and let's just say I happen to roll a 3. So what I would do is I would just simply go 1, 2, 3, and I've landed on Super Highway Act 2. Now the cost to buy this is 1 for this particular one, so I would just go ahead and pay 1 ring, and then I will go ahead and get this property card over here. Now, if it turns out I land on this and I don't want to buy it, I'm going to have to auction it off. And the way auctioning would work is the bidding would start at 1, and you could move up the bidding increments by 1 or more, and whoever bids the most is going to go ahead and win the property. And if nobody wants it, then it's just going to stay in the bank. But let's just say I went ahead and I purchased this. If someone else were to land on this, they would go ahead and pay me 1 ring rent. Now, if it turns out that I own both of these properties in the color group, they're going to end up paying me 2. Now, you also notice that there is a point value on here. This is going to be worth 10 points by the end of the game. Now, the higher up on the board you go, the properties are going to be more expensive, but they're also going to charge more in rent and be worth more points. So, for example, Planet Wisp, which is all the way over here, costs 5 to buy, but the rent is 5, and the rent with both of the color sets is going to be 10, and this card is worth 50 points. You'll be able to trade and deal these properties if you'd like to. So if it turns out you happen to have one of these and another opponent had another one of these, you could barter properties or money or whatever, just to, however you want to do it, and you can do it at any time. Now, whenever you get to Dr. Eggman and you go ahead and complete the battle with him, this is going to trigger the end of the game. And if you're able to beat Dr. Eggman, you're going to get this really, really nice jewel. If you don't beat Mr. Eggman, he's just going to simply escape, and that will end the game. Then what everybody's going to go ahead and do is they're going to go and add up their points, and there's several different ways you can make points. You'll simply count up the property points that you have here. This is 50, this is 50, this is 20, etc. You'll add those. Any bosses you beat, you'll go ahead and count up those points as well. For every 5 rings that you have in your possession, that's going to be worth 10 points. And then you're also going to go ahead and count up these Chow tokens as well. And then you're going to total all that up, and whoever has the most amount of points at the end of the game is going to win. And that, folks, is Monopoly Sonic the Hedgehog Edition.